Back at Spartan Stadium, a bit on the chilly side, but partly cloudy sky should be a good one. This is the second game at Spartan Stadium today. Football already. Becker has defeated Castleton. Castleton also losing in the championship game in women's soccer. And that snaps a reign of 3 straight NAC championships in women's soccer as Colby Sawyer defeated Castleton 1-0. And both the men's and women's hockey teams are losing the last I heard, so
let's hope these guys let's hope these guys can break the string today.
Is looking to do that for sure. For St. Joe's, number 5 Megan Williams, a defender, 5'4" sophomore from Greenland, New Hampshire. Number 9 is Amanda Salata. She's a midfielder, 5'7" sophomore from Dedham, Massachusetts. Number 10 Effie Drew, forward, 5'1" junior from Portland, Maine. Number 11, Rachel Messery, a forward, 5'4" senior from Atkinson, New Hampshire. Number 12, Teresa Hendricks, midfielder, 5'7" senior from Scarborough, Maine. Number 13, Carly Dennis, defender, 5'4" senior from Lewiston, Maine. Number 14, Kayla Royer, defender, 5'5" sophomore from Green, Maine. Number 15 is Kaylee Heath, defender, 5'5" junior from Pittston, Maine. Number 21, Kelsey Duman, midfielder, 5'4" freshman from Lewiston, Maine. Number 22, Chelsea Bordeaux, defender, 5'8" sophomore from Runford, Maine. And the goalkeeper, Emma Asbury, 5'2" freshman from Bridgewater, Vermont. She's from Woodstock High School. She and Blake Wardwell from Castleton, probably, I will say, with one of being a senior and one a freshman, overlapped by 1 year at Woodstock Union High School. So they were
one might have been a JV. Emma might have been on the JV team at that point. They were still part of the same program, for sure.
And we might add that Emma Asbury is the goalkeeper of the year, and Blake Wardwell is a first-team All-NAC. We'll get to that. We'll run by at halftime. We were kind of speculating the other day when we were here for the semifinal game, Darlene, as to who would make it from Castleton. Pretty much we had it on the money, except that the defender of the year, Stephanie Bardell, and also another player that made it, Shannon Burns, on the first team. But Christy Pinkham, Rachel Prusser on the first team, and Blake Wardwell. And Rachel Prusser, number 4 for Castleton, the player of the year in the NAC for the second time in 3 years. She was the player of the year as a sophomore and player of the year as a senior. And I thought it was a no-brainer. I couldn't possibly
come up with another.
Anybody else could have been the player of the year in the NAC.
And that's pretty amazing representation. All, that many girls coming from one team.
And, of course, all of them first-teamers. Also on the first team, Effie Drew from St. Joe's, Rachel Messery from St. Joe's on the second team, and Carly Dennis from St. Joe's on the second team. And, again, Emma Asbury, just a freshman, the goalkeeper of the year in the North Atlantic Conference. Castleton in the green and St. Joe's in the white and blue. Castleton going left to right here in the first half, and St. Joe's, the Monks, going right to left. 33:05 to go here in the first half. The game on PEGTV, Channel 20 on the Rutland Comcast system. Number 2, Shauna Pinsino. Number 4, Rachel Prusser. Number 5, Bryn Kaya. Number 9, Stacy Sullivan. Blake Wardwell is number 12. Number 17, Christy Pinkham. Madison Martin, number 18. Number 22, Stephanie Bardell. 23 is Carissa McCoy. Shannon Burns, number 37, and the goalkeeper, number 33, Jessica Galatiotto for the Spartans. The defending champ, they're looking for their 3rd championship in program history, and St. Joe's, making its 4th trip to the title game, has come up short each time. They're 0 for 3 in the title game.
And Castleton looking for a repeat, actually. They were the conference champions last year in the tournament.
Right. Yep, the defending champs.
They did it on the road.
They did it up at Husson. They won 8-6.
And this night looks like a nice night compared to that evening.
Very cold night, for sure. Messery, number 11. The Spartans bringing it back the other way. Stephanie Bardell, the defensive player of the year.
Well deserved. Castleton's defensive unit, every chance I get to talk with Coach Tammy Landon, she just lauds that group heavily. They'd make everything turn around quickly for these offensive players.
Christy Pinkham on the right wing along the near side. We're under the lights at Spartan Stadium. Yeah, we talk a lot about this prolific offense, and they are. Rachel Pruser, for example, and Pinkham and Wardwell, the three of the top 4 scorers in the North Atlantic Conference, but a suffocating defense, too, that somewhat gets overlooked, except for the fact that Bardell was the defender of the year, but somewhat overlooked because of the prolific offense.
Yeah, it's easy to overlook them when your offense is, putting up 6, 7 goals a game, and there's just so much action at the other cage that,
It's a lot of number 9 for St. Joe's. Spartans looking to put on some pressure offensively.
Just in and no touch at all over the back line.
Christy Pinkham beats it inside the circle, knocked away there by Royer. Still Royer knocks it outside the circle. Carly Dennis, number 13 for St. Joe's of Maine. Christy Pinkham looks defeated toward the middle, knocked back toward the middle of the field. Coming over is Bryn Kea.
Couple of nice little moves by Kea.
Shovels it inside the circle, like Wardwell tried to play it.
Gonna stay down here though. Long hit.
State championship game action today in high school football. The Division III championship going to Woodstock, and Woodstock winning its 3rd straight. The Division II championship going to Rice. Rice winning for the 2nd straight year. Woodstock defeated Mill River, and it was Rice over Linden, Middlebury, and also South Burlington playing for the Division I championship starting at 5 in high school football here in the state of Vermont. F.E. Drew, number 10 for St. Joe's. One person I know, Dave Sears, who's broadcasting the Middlebury South Burlington game. His heart is here at Spartan Stadium. His daughter Alex playing for a championship here in field hockey.
The text hotline is open, I guess, though, so he's getting all his updates quickly.
Pinkham with it for the Spartans, number 17. Again, the Spartans in green and St. Joe's in the white and blue. Duman, number 21. Stepping into it, Hendricks. And number 9 is Salata.
Oh, nice quick stick by Bardell there.
And we talk about the defender of the year and plays like that. Scoreless with 28:30 to go in the first half.
And the defenders for Castleton that get the ball can carry it and, put on their own moves for so many yards up the field. It does. It gives the offense that much more time to be so much further ahead.
Trying to send it inside the circle, blocked and brought out by Rachel Pruser, the player of the year for the 2nd time in her career. Trying to go to Pinsino and played at the center circle by Heath for St. Joe's. F.E. Drew, number 10. Pruser then had it and then lost it. Smacked ahead by Hendricks. Stephanie Bardell, number 22.
Too far. Just gonna make it.
Rupert Lewis, the coach of the St. Joe's Monks in his 9th season, and Tammy Landon in her 10th season for the Spartans.
A lot of long balls right now, not connecting with anyone. Time to shorten it up, make something happen.
Back tracking Duman. Trying to get it back to Duman out near the center part of the field. Here's Duman now. Center circle. Rachel Pruser back the other way in the left wing for the Spartans. Cruiser looks to move it in on the left wing, brings it toward the middle. Poked away as she got it toward the circle.
A game of quick little spurts so far with really nothing, presenting themselves as a scoring opportunity yet.
McCoy on the restart for the Spartans, trying to get it down to Kaya, knocked away and play by Duman.
She's been all over the field to start.
Kaya on the restart the other way, left wing, number 5 for Castleton. Kaya. Spinning around, and with it is Effie Drew. Bordell makes the play defensively, but the restart for St. Joe's of Maine.
Well represented by their fan base today from Maine. Quite a few people made the trip.
McCoy along the far side. McCoy getting it back, number 23 for the Spartans, 5'6" junior from Waterboro, Maine.
Dumont again, just everywhere to start this.
Messery in close. Messery, tough angle from there and hit the side of the goal.
I think it was tipped off Castleton, so it's going to stay down here with St. Joe's for a long hit. Yep.
Back all the way out front. And the play by Pruser. Doesn't have the numbers, though. It's 1-on-4. Poked away. Pinsino tries to step into it. Dennis is number 13 for St. Joe's. Down the middle to Messery. Did get it inside the circle.
Oh, corner, first time.
And it's a corner coming up for St. Joe's. See who the inserter will be for St. Joe's. It will be number 5. Be Megan Williams, the inserter. See if they go to the player at the point.
Pretty close.
Going to bring it inside the circle, but the defensive play made there by the Spartans. They have the numbers this time, but it's held up. Now it goes back to Pruser on the left wing. Pruser getting that pass from Pinsino.
Broken up nicely there by Carly Dennis. I'm sure St. Joe's is quite aware of Pruser and her abilities and don't want to leave her too unmarked.
Carly Dennis, a 5'4" senior from Lewiston, Maine, number 13. Number 5 is Williams.
Long ball to nowhere.
Scoreless with 23:09 to go in the first half here at Spartan Stadium. Making the play is Effie Drew. Effie Drew and Messery. Down low, loose, goes across the back line.
Another long hit. Couple of good moments of offensive prowess there for St. Joe's. They've been in the circle now for a little bit.
One game kind of runs into another, and we mentioned we were here October 5th, a little over a month ago for the 3-0 Castleton win. If I remember, even though it was 3-0, if I remember correctly from that game, Darlene, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I got the feeling St. Joe's was never really in it. I thought Castleton kind of just completely dominated.
Yeah, as I recall, that's exactly what I was thinking too. They were a little flat-footed. They were on tour for the weekend, and they knew they were on for a long weekend away from their campus. And sometimes, you might just get a flat day. That's probably why they really welcome the opportunity to get back here to show everyone, that really wasn't us. We're here to play it again today.
Carly Dennis sends it out front. Hendricks is number 12. Hits it by everybody. Long hit up to Rachel Prusser.
And so far, Castleton's really liked to try to get Prusser to be the one to bring it up the field, but they have, I mean, there's like 3 or 4 girls around her every time she turns around. Maybe, you know, start from the other side 1 or 2 times, but it's hard to pass up giving the ball to Prusser.
Duman got it inside the circle and then broken up by the Spartans out to Brinkea. Hendricks on the right wing, number 12. Inside the circle. And it's going to be
another one.
Penalty corner coming up for St. Joe's. St. Joe's with its second of the half. This time the inserter is going to be Carly Dennis. Carly Dennis, number 13, a 5'4" senior from Lewiston, Maine. Gets it out to the point.
Out too quickly, one of the Castleton girls. I think it's Madison Martin. So they'll defend this corner with 3 girls and a keeper now instead of the 4. It wasn't. It was actually it was Carissa McCoy.
Yeah. Out to the point, Hendricks. Jotted in. Galatioto makes the save about 5 yards out, and the Spartans get it out of trouble along the left wing. Shoveled up now to Prusser. Prusser tried to feed it to Pinsino, broken up. Akia looking to get it back, and it's taken away from by Hendricks for St. Joe's. Stephanie Bordell had it knocked down. Bordell again. And Bordell on the restart. Slides it up for Shauna Pinsino.
Nice little ditch to Pinkham, who's been relatively quiet so far. She usually is kind of a spark plug to get things going.
She scored 2 goals in that 3-0 win during the regular season. Doesn't get it all the way to the circle. Comes out to McCoy. Pinkham tipped it ahead. Pinkham again. Pinkham down the middle. And to shovel it in by twisting the stick around into the circle, back out to McCoy. Kaya looks to step in on the left wing. Coming back to play it, Drew. All the way out, Sullivan now for the Spartans, number 9.
Nice little small ball to Bardell to set things a little better.
Monks looking to control. Having it for a while was Williams. Williams now will have it on the self-start for St. Joe's. 18:35 to go first half. It's scoreless. Out to Bryn Kia. Kia try to shovel it toward the middle. Hendricks intercepts. Kia gets it back.
And St. Joe's really stepping up, playing some good, tight defense on those offensive threats for Castleton right now. They're not free at all.
Goes across the line, across the way, and the restart for Bryn Kia. This is as deep as Castleton's been in a while. Out to McCoy. Pinkham to Blake Wardwell. Has to play at right wing. Got bumped a little bit there by Royer. And they get it inside and score.
Bardell sent it in. It must have tipped off somebody else inside.
A 1-0 lead for the Spartans.
Spartan goal number 22.
And it is Bordell that gets the goal. The defender of the year gets the goal in the championship game. Stephanie Bordell. It's 1-0 Spartans. 17:27 to go in the first half.
That black line for the circle is incredibly difficult to see. She may have been inside. It was very close.
I thought it came originally from outside myself, but
yeah. If we get a break, maybe we'll try to see again.
Stephanie Bardell picking it up. Who had it before Bardell? Was it Madison Martin?
I'm not sure if it was her or it came back to Bardell from Blake Wardwell, possibly.
Well, we didn't pick up the assist on that, but.
And corner again for St. Joe's.
It's number 3.
Still real hard to tell.
But Stephanie Bardell does get credit, at least right now. Sometimes they do change the goals, as we mentioned. But
Right. Well, if nothing else, Bardell definitely sent it in. You know, it did start bouncing around a little bit when it was in there, so.
Here's Galatioto knocking it away off the original shot. Galatioto again knocking it away. A lot of traffic. They don't clear it out.
Yeah, another
It's going to be another penalty corner coming up.
One of Galatioto's clears right into Shannon Burns' feet. Just incidental, but it happened.
The inserter now will be Effie Drew. I notice St. Joe's using different inserters, whereas Castleton pretty much sticks with the same player.
Again, too quick.
So Castleton will lose a player.
This time I believe it's Bardell that's going back to the 50. They'll defend another corner with 3 defenders and a keeper.
And this comes in the short way to the left wing.
Good save.
Galatioto again kicks it away and comes outside the area, and with it is Shauna Pinsino. Rachel Prusser. Prusser at the 50, and it intercepted by Heath. Madison Martin now to Pinkham along the near side. Pinkham lost it across the line, and it will be the restart for Carly Dennis. 15 minutes to go, first half, 1-0 Castleton on the goal by Stephanie Bardell.
And actually, to this point, despite the 1-0 lead for Castleton, St. Joe has been the one with the most pressure.
Several shots. Galatioto had to knock away a few.
Yeah, she's made a few saves, a couple of them pretty nice ones. They've had more corners. They've really come to play.
Brewster tried to handle it there from Royer. Restart for the Spartans, going left to right here in the first half, and St. Joe's and Maine, the Monks going right to left. That pass went in behind Stephanie Bardell.
Yeah, that's a bad giveaway.
Dooman with speed. Dooman on the right wing. Rachel Prusser getting it back on the left wing. Stepping into it, Hendricks. Taken away by Sullivan, but the restart coming up again for Teresa Hendricks.
And I'm not sure we've seen any subs yet for either team.
Partially fanning on the shot, well within the circle for St. Joe's out front. Here's Prusser. Prusser getting it back on the left wing. Prusser.
Nice run
Indeed.
here.
Still outside the circle. Nice defensive play there by Kaylee Heath. That pass broken up by
Carissa McCoy.
Yep, McCoy, number 23.
A lot of nice plays being made all over the field tonight. It's good when you get to a championship game and, you know, everybody's brought their A game. Makes for a really exciting game.
Dooman's pass, and it's picked off there by Stephanie Bardell. Kaya hits it to Prusser. Kay gets it back, slides it across. St. Joe's on possession the other way. Teresa Hendricks, who is a 5'7" senior from Scarborough, Maine. Long hit trying to send it through traffic, picked off by McCoy. Pinsino lost it, but it goes to Kaya, and it's going to be a restart for St. Joe's. And Hendricks again. Stephanie Bardell steps into it. Slides it down the middle. Prusser handles it and wants to go to Wardwell.
Not quite enough.
Hendricks up to Messery. Messery on the right wing for St. Joe's. Got by McCoy, and it's going to be the restart for Hendricks for St. Joe's. Gets it inside the circle. Deflected out is trying to have
Nowhere to
control
go.
is Messery.
Defense stepped up, didn't give her much of an angle to the cage. She really didn't have a good look to go anywhere with it.
Prusser to Pinsino. Center circle played by Dennis.
More tough work by the Castleton defense this time. Again, Carissa McCoy stepping up. She's having a good start to her day.
Trying to feed it through traffic to Prusser. Kelsey Duman, who is a 5'4" freshman from Lewiston, Maine, who had a control play initially. And there's an example where a long shot just goes through everybody and
touch no one.
Galatiato let it go. Galatiato. Substitution coming up for Castle, and Maria Stern will be checking in.
We have an extra ball down here on the field he wants to get rid of.
Restart for Castleton with 9:20 to go in the first half. Right now, Stephanie Bardell, the difference, the defender of the year, scoring for Castleton. Castleton has a 1-0 lead.
And Castleton just determined that they want to come up this wing, but yet you look around and there's so many defenders from St. Joe's in this area. It's been really difficult.
Kaya knocks it down.
Nice look. Maria Stern just entered the game for Kaya for a little bit.
Maria Stern, number 25 on the left wing, brings it inside the circle. Still with a tough angle there near the back line. Knocked away and cleared out by St. Joe's, played by McCoy. Now to Stephanie Bardell at the point. Fires through traffic and deflected.
Wide. Nobody there. And Blake Wardwell, nowhere to go. When she's on the ground, the ball comes back to her like that. This half has gone quite quickly, actually. 7:45 to play.
1-0 Castleton on the goal by Stephanie Bardell. Restart for St. Joe's. Sullivan. One of St. Joe's, they're very, we say this almost every time for both soccer and men's and women's soccer and field hockey. Not a lot of the opponent's fans, but nevertheless, very loud.
Yep.
And I don't know
Gonna
if you
get their
can hear that.
money's
Come on,
worth.
ref. Now, I mean, that would be equivalent to a high stick in ice hockey, but indeed, it's the same thing.
Well, they do get to shoulder height. I mean, it was pretty close, actually. I thought she had it. It was safely played.
Yeah,
but
I thought it was too. I thought it was about waist high anyway.
if nothing else, the St. Joe defender didn't give her the opportunity to play the ball to the ground. I thought it was a pretty good aerial call myself, but.
Teresa Hendricks on the restart for St. Joe. 6:30 to go, first half. 1-0 Castleton. Don't quite feed it all the way into the circle, and Stephanie Bardell plays it. Wardwell makes the play at the 50. Like Wardwell.
Just kind of got tangled up over there with the defender.
Rachel Prusser down the middle. Prusser on the left wing. Prusser still outside the circle, and
just outside. Going to be a restart.
It's going to be Maria Stern on the left wing, about 10 feet outside the circle. Out front to Stephanie Bardell. Stephanie Bardell getting back. Steps in. Throws it inside. Prusser there. Loose about 5 yards out. Prusser looking to find an opening. She's got that scorer's touch, of course, and it's going to be St. Joe's the other way.
Made herself some space and actually was trying to, I believe, get the ball to Blake Wardwell, who just couldn't free herself up enough to get to that post.
Effie Drew for St. Joe's, and now it's on the right wing, Kelsey Duman. Duman to the middle. Duman chips it now to Hendricks.
Nice patience by Duman.
Back out it comes to Prusser for the Spartans. Pinsino across the 50, but controlled by St. Joe's, and it goes back to the Spartans. Went back to Stern. Stern with it again. Stern getting it back. Stern down the middle. Chipped away and back the other way. Here's Duman. But Pinkham plays it. Number 17 for Castleton. Duman picks it out of there on the right wing. Duman still with a nice play by Sullivan, but it's going to be the restart for St. Joe's.
Yeah. Might have just quick deflected off her stick into her legs. Still made a nice stop.
Hendricks restart for St. Joe's on the right wing. 1-0 Castleton. 3:52 to go in the first half. Championship in the North Atlantic Conference in field hockey. Defending champion Castleton Spartans, the number 1 seed, number 2 seed St. Joe's of Maine. St. Joe's making its 4th trip to the state to the NAC title game. In the middle, Messery. Duman trying to control just about at the circle, but Castleton controls. Pinsino with it for the Spartans, number 2. Blake Wardwell on the right wing along the near side. All conference selection first team for Castleton. Royer plays it for St. Joe's.
And Castleton's needed every strong defender that they have on the field today. As you know, St. Joe's has actually had the better opportunities. And Castleton just keeps stepping up, shutting it out. This is still a game that could go in either direction at 1-0, obviously, and the amount of pressure that's being applied here.
Here's Rachel Prusser on the left wing. Rachel Prusser on the give and go from Pinsino, getting it back on the left wing. Rachel Prusser moves it toward the circle, tries to feed it inside, knocked away by St. Joe's. Another great play. Duman with it on the right wing along the far side. Had her pockets picked by McCoy. Long hit knocked down. McCoy looks to step up into it. Duman gets it back for St. Joe's on the right wing far sideline. She sends it toward the middle. Messery. But a Spartan defender right on it.
Yep. Stacy Sullivan created that, and Shannon Burns finished it off for her. A nice step up there by Madison Martin to intercept that.
Going down on 1:10 to go in the first half. Substitution. Elizabeth O'Neill, a freshman from Topsham, Maine, number 23, checking in for St. Joe's. Came in for Duman. Duman's getting a breather.
She's worked hard. She's been, involved in a lot of the play, both offensively and defensively. This taking her out with like a minute to play in the half will give her just that additional time. Catch your breath, be ready for the second half.
.35 seconds to go in the half. 1-0 Castleton, the first half of the NAC championship. Bardell. With speed, Prusser coming down the middle. She had a player, but she keeps it and can't get the pass off. It comes out now to Stern. 15 seconds left in the half. And knocked out toward the 50. And that should do the half.
That will.
That is the end of the first half. Still anybody's field hockey game. The North Atlantic Conference final in field hockey. And the goal by Stephanie Bardell has put Castleton up 1-0 here at halftime. Jack Healey, Darlene Janowski, Jordan Royer is our producer. And our producer at PEGTV Channel 20. Our producers, Mike Valentine and Chris McCormick. There's your score. It's the 1-0 lead for Castleton on the goal by Stephanie Bardell. And we'll take a little break. We'll be back right before the start of the second half from Spartan Stadium.
I'm a pioneer, not a settler.
At Husson University, our focus is on the student. Learn in an intimate, hands-on environment from top-notch faculty. Prepare for a rewarding, successful career.
I'm learning how to help people make their lives better.
Health, pharmacy, business, legal studies, education, counseling, science and humanities. You and Husson, a powerful combination, a smart investment. Learn more at husson.edu.
Right from the start, we try to make sure that they understand the priorities here, that when you come here, your academics are by far the top priority. But we also hope that you can make a commitment to athletics that's very close to that. Maine Maritime's student GPA is actually a little bit less than our student athlete GPA, so I think that gives you a good indication that that extra focus that our athletes get, that discipline that they have to be able to fit everything into their schedule, really actually makes them better students as well.
Founded in 1894 in Waterville, Maine, Thomas College is a small, private liberal arts institution which believes access and affordability of education is critical to success.
Well, when I noticed Thomas, I noticed that they had my pre-law major, and I was really excited about that. I could also come and play soccer and do my studies all at the same time. Thomas seemed like they had a really positive atmosphere in a really small-knit community.
On average, over 94% of Thomas graduates are hired in their field of study within 90 days of graduation. So confident its undergraduate students will succeed in their chosen field of study, Thomas College offers a one-of-a-kind, guaranteed job placement program. Whether you're a recent high school graduate continuing your education or looking for a new career path, Thomas College can help you hit the ground running. Learn more about Thomas College and its students. Confident, capable, connected, guaranteed.
As one of Sierra Magazine's coolest schools, Green Mountain College offers an action-oriented approach to the liberal arts that is nationally renowned. Our mission is to help turn your interests and passions into a rewarding career.
Athletics is a big part of that mission. We emphasize the word student in the student-athlete equation. That's why our school consistently has NAC all-conference academic athletes.
We're competitive at GMC because by working hard, by learning to lead and to learn, we become better players and better people.
Even from a distance, it's easy to see what sets Linden apart, starting with our one-of-a-kind Vermont location. Hi, this is Joe Bertolino, president of Linden State College. I invite you to become a member of a community where students come first. Linden State College, one-of-a-kind academic programs, one-of-a-kind personal attention, and one-of-a-kind opportunity. Learn more at lindenstate.edu.
Small enough that I believe that it can be a really welcoming place for students, and it's not so overwhelming and daunting as some major universities.
The size of Johnson definitely helps because, you know, the president knows our name. Like, I've had dinner at her house, I know the deans, and you know everybody and they know you. So if you're away from home like I am and you need like that family setting, you have that.
You can get involved in clubs, in student government. In my classes, like, my teachers care about how good I'm doing.
For the price of a state school, I'm getting what essentially is really a private school education. I'm in classrooms with 6, 8 students. The biggest class I've ever been in, I think, has 19 students.
If you have a problem, the teachers are always there to help you. And I just feel comfortable about college. Before that, I was just nervous to go to college, and I didn't think that I can make it.
I would say definitely choose Johnson. It's awesome.
The North Atlantic Conference formed in 1997 as the North Atlantic Women's Conference. In the fall of '99, men's programs were added to the conference offering, and the name officially became the North Atlantic Conference. The NAC sponsors championships in 13 sports and participates with the Northeastern Athletic Conference in 2, providing competitive regular season and postseason opportunities for student athletes in 15 sports. Currently the home of 10 members from 3 New England states. From Maine, the University of Maine at Farmington, Husson University, Maine Maritime Academy, and Thomas College. From New Hampshire, the newest NAC members, Colby-Sawyer College and New England College. And from Vermont, Castleton State College, Green Mountain College, Johnson State College, and Linden State College. Consistent with the NCAA Division III philosophy, a basic purpose of this conference is to maintain intercollegiate athletics as an integral part of the educational experience, with the student athlete as an integral part of the student body. Discover, develop, dedicate.
Looking to purchase awards for your team or conference? Want to recognize a championship season? Well, the Championship Award Guys are the right choice for your team. They are the leader in manufacturing recognition products for award programs. They have outstanding customer service and delivery. The Award Guys service the professional, collegiate, and high school markets. They specialize in conference award programs along with individual and team awards. For more info, call 508-695-8133 or visit them online at award-guys.com.
Why did I choose Castleton?
Castleton is big enough, so there's a lot to do. It's small enough, so I can really get involved.
Sports.
Theater and music.
Radio and TV.
Internships and community service. There's a real sense of community.
And lots of opportunity.
And Castleton is in Vermont.
That means hiking, biking, skiing, and riding.
Visit castleton.edu to learn more about Castleton.
The North Atlantic Conference formed in 1997 as the North Atlantic Women's Conference. In the fall of '99, men's programs were added to the conference offering, and the name officially became the North Atlantic Conference. The NAC sponsors championships in 13 sports and participates with the Northeastern Athletic Conference in 2, providing competitive regular season and postseason opportunities for student athletes in 15 sports. Currently the home of 10 members from 3 New England states. From Maine, the University of Maine at Farmington, Husson University, Maine Maritime Academy, and Thomas College. From New Hampshire, the newest NAC members, Colby Sawyer College and New England College. And from Vermont, Castleton State College, Green Mountain College, Johnson State College, and Linden State College. Consistent with the NCAA Division III philosophy, a basic purpose of this conference is to maintain intercollegiate athletics as an integral part of the educational experience, with the student athlete as an integral part of the student body. Discover, develop, dedicate.
Even from a distance, it's easy to see what sets Linden apart, starting with our one-of-a-kind Vermont location. Hi, this is Joe Bertolino, president of Linden State College. I invite you to become a member of a community where students come first. Linden State College, one-of-a-kind academic programs, one-of-a-kind personal attention, and one-of-a-kind opportunity. Learn more at lindenstate.edu.
Jack Healey back with Darlene Janowski at Spartan Stadium, the North Atlantic Conference Final in field hockey, and the defending champion Castleton Spartans have a 1-0 lead at halftime. And Jack Healey, Darlene Janowski, Jordan Royer is our producer, Mike Valentine and Chris McCormick, our producers at PEGTV, Channel 20, on the Rutland Comcast system. 1-0, the goal indeed going to Stephanie Bardell, no assist at the 17:33 mark. Jessica Galatioto has 4 saves. Emma Asbury for St. Joe's, no saves. That was the only shot on goal, that goal by Bardell. 4 penalty corners for St. Joe's, none for Castleton. We were talking here at halftime. When's the last time we've seen that, where Castleton with no penalty corners, but they do lead on the scoreboard 1-0.
And that's the weird thing about some of these games. We've seen the heartbreak of Castleton just dominate a stat sheet and come up empty, and so far that's what's going on for St. Joe's today.
Galatioto with the 4 saves, so St. Joe's has put on the pressure. St. Joe's going left to right here in the second half. Castleton right to left. To your left, it's Emma Asbury, the goalkeeper for St. Joe's, the goalkeeper of the year in the North Atlantic Conference this year. To your right, Jessica Galatioto for Castleton. So Castleton going right to left in green. St. Joe's in the white and blue going left to right here in the second half. Stephanie Bardell on the restart.
And Castleton's, those 2 all-conference defenders they have, they're going to have to really step up, because St. Joe's has put on quite a bit of pressure, actually, for the first half anyway. We'll see if they can continue into the second, but they've been the dominant team.
Christy Pinkham on the right wing along the far side for the Spartans. Looks to get it inside the circle. Down low, here's Prusser. And it's cleared out and out of the circle, and it's going to be the restart coming up for St. Joe's. That was Bryn Kaya, who was back in number 5, who's got it now for the Spartans along the near sideline. Christy Pinkham, number 17.
Pinkham's had a kind of quiet afternoon. Usually she's right in the middle of things, and the defense for St. Joe's has stepped up just as well as Castleton's. They've taken care of business. And I'm sure both coaches at halftime were, really hammering the don't ever let up deal. There's still too much game to play here, and it's a wide open affair. It could be anybody's ball game.
Rachel Prusser getting it back, number 4 for Castleton, the player of the year for the second time in the North Atlantic Conference. Shoveled out and across the line, across the way. Madison Martin on the restart. Kaya looks to run it down. Nice play it near the circle by Salata. Salata with it on the left wing. Madison Martin knocks it away.
Real nice poke there by Martin to take that ball away.
Charlie Dennis. Martin gets it back, but it's controlled again by the Monks.
And that automatic NCAA bid to this winner is,
That's right.
They're well aware of that, I'm sure.
Not only does the team that wins this game get the North Atlantic Conference Championship with the bid to the NCAA tournament. A year ago, the Spartans got the bid after winning the championship and drew Tufts. And Tufts ended up winning the NCAA championship.
There are some incredibly strong Division III conferences, and when they start traveling around and playing out of conference, there's going to be some real tough competition.
Of course, Tufts out of the NESCAC.
Lost today, actually.
Hendricks, number 12 for St. Joe's.
Can't quite get through that line of defense, Castleton, today.
In deep. Bringing in deep. Initially was Williams, knocked back out by the Spartans. Messery sends it across.
Wow. It was a tough pass to handle. It came off the ground when she let it go. It was bouncing a little bit. It was tough to control, but boy, that was put right there on the stroke line. Anything's going to happen when it gets in that close.
1-0 Castleton. 30 minutes to go in the second half of the NAC championship game. Pinsino.
Going to be decided on the field, I guess. The refs are going to try to let them play through a few things. It's going to create some bumping and a little pushing around, but let them work it out.
Pushed ahead to Pinkham from Stacy Sullivan. Salata, number 9 for St. Joe's, and Stephanie Wardell at the 50. Hangs it toward the end line, and Blake Wardwell.
Wow, he's deflection off of St. Joe's for that long hit. It's going to stay down here as Castleton's ball for a long hit.
It'll be Christy Pinkham on the long hit from the far sideline. Inside the circle.
Didn't quite move it the 5 yards required to do that, so right back to St. Joe's.
It's Alex Sears, number 10.
Her first action of the day.
Number 10 for the Spartans. Number 10 is Effie Drew for St. Joe's.
And Pruce are way back to the defensive end to help out and grab that ball, push it forward.
Like Wardwell at the 50. Number 13 is Carly Dennis for St. Joe's, the Monks. Alex Sears plays it for Castleton. The Monks the other way. Hendricks.
Good defensive numbers back for Castleton. Someone's got to pick her up, though.
Messery tries to chip it down the middle, inside, and about 5 yards out. A penalty corner coming up. It's It's going to be the 5th for St. Joe's. None for Castleton.
And they got to be careful. They've had a couple of girls break early, and it's cost them defensively. They've had to play out a couple of corners with just 3 defenders with the keeper back there. That's something you don't want to do on a regular basis.
Looks like Megan Williams is the inserter, sophomore from Greenland, New Hampshire. Messery out front, and another penalty corner coming up for the Monks. Again, the inserter is Megan Williams. They bring it out to the point. And another penalty corner. 3 in a row.
Just off Bardell's feet. She can't quite get a good break on that ball.
This time a different inserter for St. Joe's. Get it inside the circle.
In.
Shot and the score from inside the circle that ties it. It's Carly Dennis. The inserter that time was Effie Drew. Dennis scores the goal. It's tied at 1.
Yeah, they went low on the corner and then passed high. All the defenders went low with them, and she was wide open for a good look.
Goal by number 13, Carly Dennis.
Carly Dennis on the goal to tie it at 1 apiece. Carly Dennis for St. Joe's.
A nice step up there by Alex Sears. And you can see that goal has just put a little life in the step of St. Joe's right now.
Well,
That's a dangerous
that was
thing.
something like 3 or 4 penalty corners in a row, and they cash in on one. It's how many times can you get into the red zone and score before you score? And they scored there at 1-1. Carly Dennis, a second-teamer All North Atlantic Conference All-Star.
Wow. It was a pretty bad third party right there. The girl ran right through the middle of the play, and he didn't catch it.
Tied at 1 with 24:35 left here in the second half. Christy Pinkham along the far sideline.
Still Castleton ball. A lot of time left here. A lot of things can happen.
Restart for Christy Pinkham. As a matter of fact, it's going to be the first penalty.
Yeah, he gave a corner. They were way outside, but, it was...
It is a penalty corner. I thought it was a restart there for a moment. This is the first penalty corner for the Spartans.
Wow.
Rachel Prusser.
45 minutes into the game, you would have never guessed that.
Out to Pinkham. It's outside the circle. Has to bring it inside. Lets it fly. Deflected on the
there
way through. They
is.
score! And who got it about 5 yards out? It's 2-1. Was it Prusser that got it, or? Yes, it was. Yep. Prusser on the goal. Number 17, Pinkham getting an assist. Prusser on the goal. And the Spartans have retaken the lead 2-1.
And Pinkham sent a really nice hard shot through, and Prusser right there on the spot where she needed to be for the deflection. Again.
Yeah. And we got a timeout with 23:44 left here in the second half.
Interesting timeout by St. Joe's. A lot of good momentum going here and taking a little break.
Rachel Prusser, her 26th goal of the year.
St. Joe's has played a good game up to this point. He's probably going to remind them, girls, let's not let this sleeping giant wake, because when the offense starts pouring out of Castleton, it's nonstop. They need to really step up right here to get back into this.
Tells you the importance, again, of those penalty corners. Prusser, the inserter, you got it to Pinkham, will work her way around to the right, inside the circle, fed it across, and Prusser finished it off right off the penalty corner.
And they lost Prusser for a minute there. They had her so well marked, and you look at the replay of it, she was all alone on that post. They've done a good job so far the whole day of just having someone right with her every second. They've rotated people, making sure she doesn't just run away from them.
So Castleton had the 1-0 lead on the goal by Stephanie Bardell, had the 1-0 lead at halftime. The goal by Carly Dennis tied it for St. Joe's, but soon thereafter, and that was off a penalty corner, and soon after that, Castleton got its first penalty corner and scored. Pinkham to Prusser, 2-1 Castleton, 23:44 to go here in the second half.
And a lot of time, obviously, in this game.
SRE number 11, number 12 is Hendricks.
Just out of bounds, dished out defensively.
St. Joe's looking for the tying goal here inside the circle now. Still inside the circle. And that is poked in just wide. They get it down low, and that was just wide. I believe getting a piece of that on the way by was Elizabeth O'Neill, who's seeing action. She's a 5'5" freshman from Topsham, Maine, number 23.
And only 3 seniors actually on this whole St. Joe's team, so they're going to be solid and someone to reckon with for quite some time.
Esri, Hendricks, and Dennis are seniors. Chelsea Bordeaux is number 22 for St. Joe's.
Well, we're going to have a card here. Just a green card for Chelsea Bordeaux, I believe. 2 minutes.
So Castleton has a player advantage for 2 minutes. The green card for Bordeaux.
Getting a little excitable down there.
Down a player.
Step up and get control here. We don't want to
Esri with it. They're
have
down
any
a player.
problems.
And a penalty corner,
And
down
a corner.
player. Amanda Salata will be checking in here for St. Joe's. Another penalty corner coming up for the Monks. It looks like that's Megan Williams on the insert. Sends it out to the point, Messery.
Yeah,
and a play, nice play by Bordell.
And still Castleton ball. That corner was doomed. She stopped the ball before it left the circle, so she knew she had to bring it out for anything to be worthwhile shot. And by that time, Bardell was on it.
O'Neill is out. Elizabeth O'Neill, and back in it is Salata for St. Joe's. So O'Neill was not in there for a long time, even though she was the one that just tipped it wide in that flurry earlier. 21 minutes to go, second half, 2-1 Castleton. Pass too far for Alex Sears. Like Wardwell was out. I thought she was out, but I guess she was.
No, she tried to chase the ball down and just went flying through the bench to get it done.
Here's Christy Pinkham. Rachel Prusser went hopping by her. Pinkham. And checking back in after the green card is Bordeaux. Second opportunity for Williams. Messery stripped by Bardell. Effie Drew.
Still going to stay with Castleton. Kea.
Bryn Kea controlling. Pinkham trying to get into it from Heath. Heath bangs it up toward the 50. Back is Stephanie Bardell. On the right wing to Alex Sears. Back out Salata.
She's got some room.
Messery.
Tough corner to be working out of down there. Not a lot of room.
Messery inside the circle. Shoots it across. Side of the cage.
Another long hit for St. Joe's.
It'll be Messery. Rachel Messery, a 5'4" senior from Atkinson, New Hampshire for the St. Joe's Monks. Back out on the left wing to Carly Dennis. Chopped in front. Dangerous, but Sullivan clears it out. Back to Hendricks.
Way to get after the ball there for Bryn Kea not to quit on that ball. The intensity level on the field, as you can see, is up a little bit.
Bryn Kea along the near sideline. Halo Royer had it. The restart for the Spartans. Bardell tried to feed it on through traffic, didn't get all the way through, knocked away by Royer. Kea again along the near sideline.
Nobody there looking for a longer ball. The only people there are Messick Castleton defenders.
Carly Dennis. Carly Dennis, who's got the goal for St. Joe's. Bardell and Prusser scoring for the Spartans. Prusser with it, and it's going to be St. Joe's the other way. 2-1 Castleton. 16:50 to go in the second half of the NAC championship game. Salata.
Back to Castleton. Bardell going to take her time. Smart senior that she is, knowing clock's in her favor here.
Long
no need to hurry.
Pinkham. Chipped ahead on the left wing, Salata. Bardell, another poke check. The defender of the year in the NAC. Messery. Sullivan and Salata, and comes back out along the far sideline. Messery.
Both defenses working incredibly hard here. Some pretty good offensive push.
Dennis looks to knock it inside the circle, and it is. Druman. It is Kelsey Duman, number 21 for St. Joe's.
Still lots of time to play.
St. Joe's on the offense. 2-1 Castleton's. Duman gave it up on the right wing. And that
Nobody.
shot goes in wide of Galatioto. Came from way outside.
Apparently, it was tipped somewhere by Castleton. They're going to give it back to St. Joe's.
Messeria on the left on the restart for the Monks.
Another long hit.
Looks like Maria Stern will be checking in shortly for Castleton. Played out of there by Blake Wardwell. Stripped nicely, and, well, it's going to be coming back the other way. Hendricks had it. Pinkham sent it up the middle, and stepping in is Williams. Williams down the middle. Williams lost it inside the circle. Bardell, another defensive play.
Again. She's a rock.
She's been terrific, and not only getting the goal to put Castleton up, but now that I know that she's the defender of the year, I can see for sure. I can see why. We probably took her for granted a little bit.
Yeah, sometimes you do, and you don't think of it. They're just so steady that sometimes they get overlooked. Not by their coaching staff, though. She has high praise for those defenders. She knows that that's how her offense gets going.
And not for the other coaches in the league who voted her the defender of the year.
Yeah.
Here's Stern in for Kaya. Kaya gets a breather for Castleton.
That's a good solid sub there for Castleton. Maria's gotten a lot of minutes this year. Bardell again to Pinsino.
Pinsino at the 50.
We're going to have another card. And Williams is going to go off for 5 minutes with a yellow now.
So again, a green is 2. Is that correct? A green's 2.
Green is 2 and a yellow it's usually 5 minutes for a yellow.
Now, how did you? Okay, it's usually 5 minutes.
Yeah, the ref put up his hand with the 5. Yeah, so
it.
it was hard to see the card itself, but.
So, a player advantage for Castleton for 5 minutes.
Either that or she being number 5, maybe he was signaling that. I really didn't see the card color in his hand with his gloves and stuff. I'm assuming it's a 5-minute yellow.
And she's putting on a jacket, so she must think she's going to be there for a while.
It's cold out.
$12:20 to go, second half. 2-1 Castleton in the NAC championship game in field hockey.
The last time a St. Joe's girl left with the green card earlier in the first half, it inspired her teammates, and they pumped a couple corners real quick. Didn't materialize to any goals, but they got a great offensive push out of it.
Addison Martin getting set to check in for Castleton, number 18. St. Joe's player down, looking to get it inside the circle.
Ooh, free ball rolling around in there. Those are scary.
Running it down, Dennis, who picked up that goal earlier for St. Joe's. At the time, it tied it at 1.
Pinkham fighting hard here.
Chopped out. Pinkham on the restart.
Well, she's up, standing up. Maybe it was only a 2-minute card. I'm not sure. We'll find out soon enough.
Well, the jacket's off.
She's ready to go. I think it's a 2.
We're talking about Megan Williams.
It was.
Yeah, Williams is back in for St. Joe's now at full strength. Duman puts on a move. Sears takes it away.
And Alex Sears with a couple of really big stops to supplement Bardell. Still quite a bit of time. It's starting to become more of an issue with 10.5 minutes to play, but that's still a lot of time in a field hockey contest.
Penalty corner coming up for St. Joe's. And the inserter will be Carly Dennis. Under 10 minutes to go in the second half, 2-1 Castleton. And as the inserter, got it on the right wing. I believe that's Williams. Long shot goes in wide of Galatioto.
They had Galatioto down, too, and two girls running to the post just couldn't get there in time.
Carly Dennis.
Nice look.
Salata. Messery inside the circle. Shoots it in, doesn't get it all the way through. Comes back out. Dennis. And it's going to be Castleton coming up the other way. Dennis scoring for St. Joe's. Bordell and Prusser for Castleton. Coming down on the 9-minute mark to go. Second half, 2-1 Castleton in the NAC championship game. Blake Wardwell along the far side. And coming back the other way will be Dennis for St. Joe's. Now on the left wing, number 13. On the left wing along the far sideline. Messery now brings it inside the circle.
He's going to start that again. She was way ahead of where he wanted that ball to be.
Dennis. Dennis back and forth.
Looking for someone.
Dennis to the middle. Bordell slides it out. Prusser with speed. Prusser's got Pincinel coming down the middle. Wardwell on the right wing.
Wow.
Prusser coast to coast. Wardwell looks, shoots, scores.
In. What a
what a spectacular play. 3-1 Castleton.
What a great run. That was fun to watch.
Start goal, number 12,
Blake Wardwell on the goal from Prusser.
Number 4, Rachel.
Oh my, what a play with speed. You saw it coming. Pincinel coming down the middle. And on the right wing, it was Blake Wardwell. 3-1 Castleton in the championship game. 7:53 to go in the second half. Here's Prusser coming down. Sends it to Wardwell and
beautiful. It was fun. I mean, she carried that ball a good 50 yards by herself, just blazing by people before dishing it to Wardwell.
That's her 17th goal. Wardwell picking up her 17th. Prusser, her 26th.
And that's got to be a nice feeling for Castleton. That one insurance goal, you've said it before, 2-1 can change so quickly. 3-1 just gives you that little extra cushion.
Boy, that was one of the nicest. That might have been the nicest play of the year. And of course,
that was great
in
to
the
watch.
Championship game. It makes it even doubly so. And this
really amazing to watch.
is going to be the restart for Castleton on the left wing. 7:05 to go in the second half. 3-1 Castleton. Stephanie Bordell out front. Alex Sears now settles it down. Pinkham. Zalata.
And Bardell.
Stephanie Bordell, again, the defender of the year. Pincinel.
And time is on Castleton's side right now. They need to just, not be lazy with their restarts, but be maybe a little bit more deliberate, burn some clock.
Pinkham on the restart.
It's going to stay Castleton ball.
5:52 to go in the second half. Pinkham on the restart, just outside the circle of 5 yards or so. Ordell at the edge of the circle, couldn't quite control for the Spartans. Here come the Monks back the other way. Messery toward the middle, now toward the 50.
And St. Joe's is going to want to do something here real quickly as far as the scoreboard goes. They don't want to be down 2 as it starts to crawl under the 5-minute mark.
Hendricks, who had it. Now the Spartans look to control. Prusser. Restart for Kea. Out front in the middle now, it's Pinkham. Stephanie Bordell on the right wing. 4:45 to go in the second half. 3-1 Castleton.
Oh, that's got to hurt tonight, or these cold, cold nights to get the ball off your fingers.
Dennis on the restart along the far sideline.
Didn't get underneath it as much as she had hoped.
Dennis again at the 50 for St. Joe's. Messery toward the middle. As Drew parked inside the circle, Messery, let's see if she can feed it to her.
Nothing. Senior leadership back there calling the shots, telling them to let that ball go out as all the Castleton defenders watched it go. Galatioto's going to miss them next year.
Inside the circle and knocked back out outside the circle. It was Alex Sears. Alex Sears trying to get to it again for the Spartans, but Dennis with it. Who sent it across? Turnaround shot. Duman knocked away Galatiota. Salata just wide. And did Galatiota. I'm not sure if she got a piece of that or not.
Guess she didn't. They're giving it back to Castleton, so I thought she had got a little stick on it too, but just wide.
2:45 to go in the second half. Prusser at the 50. Restart coming up the other way for St. Joe's, and they trail 3-1. Castleton with a 3-1 lead. Final 2:27 of the championship game.
And St. Joe's gave them all they wanted tonight, though.
Dennis. Alex Sears on the hit into St. Joe's territory. Pinkham under 2 minutes to go in the game.
And smartly just taking her time, look around.
Now to Sears, to the 50, back to Pinkham. Slides it on through the middle. Here's Prusser. Prusser left to right toward the middle. Prusser. What do we got?
That's a yellow
card, yep.
5-minute yellow.
And who's it going to be? It's going to be
Kayla
Kayla Royer.
That'll take care of her day with 1:36 to play on a 5-minute penalty.
And the penalty corner coming up for the Spartans. Prusser, the inserter. 1:36 to go, and Castleton leads it 3-1. is out front. Bordell, shot Pinkham, blocked, and it comes outside the area under a minute 30 to go.
Nice save there by Asbury. Pinkham got a good swing at that.
It was Emma Asbury, the goalkeeper freshman from Woodstock for St. Joe's. Pinkham. Minute 9 to go. It's a lot along the far side, number 9. Coming over is Carly Dennis, who has the goal for St. Joe's. 56 seconds to go in the game. 3-1 Castleton. Hendricks, number 12 for St. Joe's. Messery inside the circle.
Great
Messery
run.
in close. Messery still with it. Messery looking to get the shot away. It's going to be a penalty corner with 33 seconds to go. Penalty corner coming up for the Monks. 28 seconds to go. Hendricks blocked at the 5 and cleared out. 15 seconds to go. Wardwell, but the restart the other way for Heath. 5 seconds to go. And Castleton, the Spartans have the repeat.
On the NCAA bid.
Castleton wins it 3-1. And they go and mob their goalkeeper.
And their defense.
And just a solid win for the Spartans. They win it 3-1. Their second straight North Atlantic Conference Championship. And that is the third championship in Castleton history. And for the fourth time, St. Joe's has been turned away in the championship game.
They're a very young group, honestly. You know, with only the 3 seniors that we mentioned, they'll be back. Their time's coming. You just have that feeling. They gave Castleton all they wanted today.
Stephanie Bardell and Rachel Pruser, Blake Wardwell all scoring for the Spartans, and Carly Dennis scoring for St. Joe's. And we won't have an opportunity to go down and talk to Tammy Landon, but we'll just hang in for a minute or two.
I think they have an awards ceremony tonight, too, so.
So Stephanie Bardell scoring for Castleton at the 17:33 mark, and that put the Spartans up 1-0. At the 44:19 mark, St. Joe's on the board. Carly Dennis from Teresa Hendricks. That would tie it at 1. Christy Pinkham would score. Oh, did they change the? It was. They apparently changed the scoring, did they not? It was. We had it Pruser. They have it Pinkham on
I don't think it was Pinkham. Pinkham had the nice assist on that. I think it was Pruser. They had Pruser with the goal originally.
I got to double check that before we get out of here, because they have Pruser
on the second Castleton
we
goal.
We had Pruser scoring it, but
Pinkham with the assist. Yeah.
Well, hold on. We'll take a timeout and we'll be right back. We're going to double check on that second goal. Certainly want to get that correctly. 3-1. Castleton wins it. We'll be back to wrap it up. The championship in the North Atlantic Conference in field hockey going to the Castleton Spartans. We'll be right back.
Why did I choose Castleton?
Castleton is big enough, so there's a lot to do. It's small enough so I can really get involved.
Sports.
Theater and music.
Radio and TV.
Internships and community service. There's a real sense of community.
And lots of opportunity.
And Castleton is in Vermont.
That means hiking, biking, skiing, and riding.
Visit castleton.edu to learn more about Castleton.
All right, we're back. We did double check that goal that we thought was Pruser, and the announcement for Pruser did go to Pinkham. It does happen. Stephanie Bardell, Christy Pinkham, her 15th of the year, and Blake Wardwell from Rachel Pruser for the 3 goals. So Pinkham does get the goal. Carly Dennis scoring for St. Joe's.
And the amazing thing on the stat sheet is Castleton was, the lesser of the, they didn't have the most corners, they didn't have the most shots, and that's a rare day for them, and yet they still came through 3-1.
So that does it for our coverage. Darlene, thanks for everything. You have, again, I rode your coattails through another season. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. It was a good time. I have a good time here. It's a lot of fun.
And, of course, not only the North Atlantic Conference Championship for the Spartans, but also on to the NCAA tournament as the champion of the North Atlantic Conference, and the seedings and pairings will be announced tomorrow night. So that does it for our coverage today from Spartan Stadium of the North Atlantic Conference Championship in field hockey. For Darlene Janoski and Jordan Royer, our producers at PEGTV Channel 20, Mike Valentine and Chris McCormick. I'm Jack Healey, wishing you all a very pleasant good evening from Spartan Stadium. Again, Castleton, your North Atlantic Conference champion in field hockey. Castleton 3, St. Joe's of Maine 1. Have a good evening, everybody, from Spartan Stadium.